Well, hello there, guys and gals in interwebs land. Welcome to Miyagi Mornings, episode 119. Real quick, just out of the gate, not really related to this episode, but, man, Monday I did an episode. That would have been episode 117, and if you want to see it on YouTube, you now can't, because the YouTube police took it down. The irony is delicious. That video, the main point of that video is the real conspiracy theorists of the world are the billions of people out there who believe that big tech, big corporations, mega banks, big pharma, all the and the mainstream media, and 6 companies owning all the media in the world of any real power, that all of those entities together having all this power to silence people and to structure the narrative don't. And you can trust the information. So that video, big tech censored. Thank you. Hey guys, out there in YouTube land, Google land, right? You guys have censored that video and took it down. I am not being facetious here. Thank you so much for censoring that video. I swear to God, Sergey, etc., all at Google, whoever made the decision to pull that lever, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for shutting that video off on YouTube. It lives forever on the blockchain over at Odyssey. I'll put a link to it in this video. Will you shut this video down because I do that? You can if you want to. It's okay. I'll have a strike then. I know. I'll get another strike. Ooh, will you ban me? I don't care. But you have just proven everything I said in that video by banning it. Everything I said in that video by banning it. They said it was misinformation. They said, do you want to appeal? I said, yes, please give me an example of any misinformation in this video. I have yet to receive a comment from Big Google YouTube. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Quitting. Winners never quit. Never quit. Never quit. Quitting's not an option. I think that's shitty advice without proper context. So let's start out with where never quit really makes sense and, quitters never win, etc. Well, quitters never win at the thing they quit doing. I mean, that's true. I'll give you that. It was a big part of the ethos of my military training. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. And when you're on an obstacle course and you're testing yourself, it makes a lot of sense not to quit. When you've been given a mission, not quitting until the mission is either completed or you're dead, in that context, okay, yeah. There's a lot of places where not quitting is good advice. Never's where I have a problem. Never without the context of never quit, let's say, when it matters. Never quit when life's on the line. Never quit when you're trying to make a commitment that you can still make, right? Never quit a mission before it's complete, etc. However, even that's bad advice. And you have to understand that this whole never quit that's taught to you even in the military is only first level training. There's definitely times when you quit. That's why missions have contingencies. When you enact the contingency, you have quit the primary mission because it's blown. So if your mission was to take this building and then you find out it was like wired with frickin' explosives, you don't go in. You move to your contingency. You have a fallback plan. We need these in life too. But it doesn't always have to be so high stakes. It can be even higher stakes, and it can be far lower stakes. Here's some examples. Well, first I want to start off with, I interviewed this dude years ago. I mean years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but it was a long time back. And the subject was unschooling and homeschooling. And this guy was a very successful small farmer, paid all his bills, owned his land, owned his house. Was also an author. And for the life of me, I just can't remember his name either because it was probably 5 to 7 years back, that long ago. So with 3,000 podcasts now, it's kind of hard to know everything and remember it. But I do remember that I gave him a great big setup, slow pitch softball. At the beginning of that interview, I said, because he quit high school. Like, his parents had him in high school, and as soon as he was old enough to quit in his state at the time, he dropped out. And he didn't even get a GED. He didn't care. He knew what he wanted to do. He became a lifelong learner, and he started building his farm and everything. And I said, haven't you ever heard, but never quit? And his response was, I'm all for quitting things that are unnecessary in my life and make me miserable. So I had determined by that point that I didn't need to keep doing this, and it was making me miserable, so I quit. Oh, I love that. So here's some examples of people using the phrase never quit when it's really a bad idea. So some guy forces his kid to play a sport, let's say t-ball. The kid doesn't have any interest in it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. But since he's a little kid, he's like, 7 years old or 6 years old, and he's out in the field sticking dirt in his glove, which I've seen done. He kind of goes along for a while with it, but he really hates it. He just hates it. And he tells his dad, like halfway through the season, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to quit. He's 6 years old. He should be doing things that make him freaking happy. Really should. And his dad says, you know what? It says the Smith family, Smiths never quit. You never quit. Your team's counting on you, and your coach is counting on you. Let me tell you something, dude. The Cheboygonevill freaking Frogs t-ball team is not important to the world, and your kid that hates the sport and sucks at it is not important to the team. That's pretty minor, but it's the kind of shit I see and hear of all the time. It's nonsense. You know what? And what always happens is that's a guy or a woman, etc., trying to live vicariously through their kid. Your kid's a kid once. This never quit shit when it comes to something like that, nonsense. There's other ways to teach that lesson where things actually matter. Like, kid wants to do a thing and hits the first stumbling block and wants to quit. No, we're going to work through that together, right? But not making a kid do something they don't want to do. A little bit higher stakes. Guy starts a business. Turns out his business model is totally flawed. Totally flawed. Where he's actually in a business where the more success he has, the more broke he's going to go faster. And he does the math, he does the spreadsheet analysis that he should have done in the first place when he launched the business, but he didn't. And it turns out there's no way to fix this business. But he says, oh, never quit. Stupid, stupid, stupid. The minute you figure out that a business can't be fixed and will only lose money no matter what you do is the second you quit. You shut down the operation. You get rid of it. Too much invested, man. That's a sunken cost fallacy. It's a way to lose more money. It's throwing good money after bad. You stop doing that shit. Maybe you even retool and open a business in the same industry, but you shut down the one that is doomed to fail. Instantly. Instantly, because the only thing you get is deeper in the hole. You want a really big grand scheme? So let's say some country, I don't know, let's call them the land of dumbasses that think they're free, decides we're going to go to another country 3,000 miles away where we have no real vested interest and insert thousands of our troops and billions of our dollars to try to fix it. And 20 years later, the place is still a shit show. And somebody says, hey, maybe we should stop doing this. And cries screech out everywhere about how the whole world will fall apart if we stop giving blood and treasure to a place that's a complete shit show, that we have no real vested interest in, that's not been, well run and organized and safe and a good place for the world in 100 years or more. And by the way, it's only gotten worse every time we've touched it, and we're still touching it. But when we say stop touching it, people say some stupid shit like, then all of the men who's already lost their lives in there will have been given in vain. So what you want is more people to go die there because we never quit. You see how this can go from a little bitty thing all the way up to like this geopolitical pain in the ass that costs thousands or even hundreds of thousands of lives, billions of dollars, because we don't quit? And in that case, people in power don't really care what you think. They just want to rah-rah you so that you think something good's happening, right? Like they just want to like have a little bit of popular support with it. So they'll make you hate the only guy that ever wanted to freaking end the damn war, regardless of his other flaws, because we never quit. Never quit's terrible advice. It's awful advice. That's why it works. So I started off this week with a show about mental programming, and what I'm telling you today is never quit is another form of mental programming. Never quit. Do you know how many atrocities can be justified? How many failed policies can be justified? How much destruction of property and lives and money can be justified utilizing the philosophy of, well, never quit? And then one of you dumbasses out there who's like pseudo-military, right? Never actually served in the military or anything, but like in your head, you would have been a Navy SEAL, man, but they just didn't understand, or some stupid shit like that. Or I almost joined the military, so you're, like one of you people are going to tell me, I just don't get what don't quit means. Or never quit means. I totally get what never quit means. I totally understand the point where you put your head down, right? You put your head down and your butt up and you just work until you get the thing done. If you bleed a little bit, you bleed a little bit. If you sweat, you sweat. If you go without, you go without. If you have to eat ramen noodles for freaking 6 months to make it work, you do it. But only because it's going to lead you where you want to be or where you need to be, or because it's going to truly save somebody else's life, because it's going to enrich your life, or because you have made a commitment and you need to see the commitment through. Okay? And the commitment is actually, like, important. That's it. That's when never quit makes sense. Most of the time when it's thrown around, it's nothing but a catchphrase. It might even not even be used as never quit, but the concept is used to keep us engaged in foreign conflicts we don't need to be engaged in. Just as one simple example. You might as well say something, freedom isn't free. That's another, good Lord, the ability to control an entire society with a half a dozen catchphrases per side of the dichotomy is unbelievable, yet totally believable. Because all you got to do is look out your window and see it. So next time you hear somebody say never quit, realize that you can tell the truth and a lie in a single phrase. Never quit. It's incomplete. It's insufficient to stand on its own. It must come with context. It must come with logical, thoughtful analysis. Just to make it blunt for you right here at the end. You put your hand on a stove burner. You smell the stink of burning flesh. You feel the searing pain of your hand burning, rapidly progressing from first to second to third degree burns. If you continue to do this, very soon you will not be able to remove your hand because it will literally sear itself onto the stove burner. When should you quit doing it? If I need to say more than that, you'll never understand this one anyway. But one more time, when we're going back to episode, 117 on the Grand Conspiracy and Google taking it down, thank you so much. And guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Maybe we'll talk about crypto tomorrow. We'll see.